This week, the Olam HaTorah lost a veteran Marbitz Torah, my grandfather, Reb Reuven Scheiner Zatzal, who was Zoicha to be Machanech Doiris generations, Talmidim, both Bochrim and Yugalite, in Yeshivas Torah Vadas, for over 50 years. My grandfather had a very special place coming here when he used to come Shabbos, Yom Tovim, to my uncles, his children here, Monsey. He used to use the opportunity to be able to join in the many shurim over here, the general shurim, as well as here in the night call. He's been here in the past. Also, the Yeshivas Bein Azmanim, Sukkot and Pesach, he used to come, learn Yechal Hamoed, join in the guest speakers over there as well. The sight to see a Maggid Shir, my grandfather, how he learned with such a frish guy, with such a geschmack, literally like a bacher, is an unforgettable impression for those that was zoicha to see and to remember that. When trying to give over the dmus of my grandfather, I'm reminded of the words of the Medrash, the words of Chazal and Parshas Vayechi on the pasuk V'yidgu l'roiv b'kerev haaretz. The Medrash says, "Ma dogim halolu." These fish gedelim b'mayim. Fish live in water. They're in oceans of water. Kivin she read this tipa achas milmayla. It starts raining. It starts drizzling. All the fish go up to the top to try to get that little drop of water. Mekablan oisa b'tzimon. They take this drop of water b'tzimon, thirst. Kimishalei tamu tamayim me'oit as if they never had water. The fish, they have tons of water. They're in oceans of water. When it's raining, they go up to the top to get that little drop of water. Says the Medrash, Kach hein Yisrael gedelim b'mayim. Klal Yisrael's nimshal to mayim, to the Torah, the gadol b'mayim, that means the Torah b'Torah. And even though the Klal Yisrael, which grows in Torah, we breathe Torah, we live from the Torah, says the Medrash, Kivin shein shoyim davar chadash min Torah. When they hear any new thing, a chiddush in the Torah, they take it as if they b'tzimon, as if the Medrash kemish leishamud dvar Torah miyameim, as if they never heard dvar Torah, not even one word of Torah. My grandfather was a dugmas chai for this medrash of, even though he learned Torah his whole life, he was a Marbitz Torah for over 50 years. Anytime he heard a chiddush, whether it was a chiddush in Gemara, a chiddush in Lomdus, in Drush, anything, and even if he knew it already, every drop of Torah, he took it as if he never learned before, with such a geschmack. He used to go around with a tape recorder. He used to walk to yeshiva. When he walked, he took the bus. When he traveled, always listening to Shurim, more Torah. He used to like to go buy Svarim, look through Svarim. He enjoyed learning every mashu of Torah, like what the Medrash says, every drop of Torah. My grandfather was born close to 90 years ago in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Even though growing up then in America being born in America, nevertheless, for his Talmidim, for his children, of his grandchildren, he forged a bridge to the Gedolim of Europe, to his Rabbi Muvik, Reb Reuven Grzowski, the Edom of Reb Baruch Ber, the Bircha Shmuel from Kamenitz, to his Rebbe Reb Chazan, Reb Shur, Reb Shach Nazon, other Rabbeim, where he learned from them as a bacher, and then he continued on as a Maggid Shir. With this in mind, and now being during the Shiva, it's appropriate to be Magdish the Shir Li'ilu Nishmasei HaTahira, Reb Reuven, Reb Shmuel Yomtiv. In tonight's topic, we're going to speak about going to Kivrei Tzadikim, which is relevant to what we're learning now in Shulchan Aruch, the Siman of Ma'onin and Machashev. Going to Kivrei Tzadikim in general, and when going to Kivrei Tzadikim, how to go about davening over there. Where's one supposed to direct his tefillah when he goes to the Kvarim? There are many Makairis in Chazal for going to Kivrei Tzadikim. It's not a Heinte Gezach. It's brought in Chazal in many places. I would like to share with you some of them. Rebbe you just mentioned showed me a different Gemara. These Gemaras Chazal, and I'll share a few. The pasuk in Parsha Shlach by the Meraglim, the pasuk says, "Vayalu ba'negev, vayovayat Chevron." Vayalu Loshin Rabim, the Meraglim, Vayalu ad Negev, they came to the Negev, to the south. And then it says, Loshin Yochid, Vayavoy, and he came to Chevron. The Gemara, it's a Gemara in Saita, the Gemara asks, Taf Lamed Daled, Amud Beis, and Rashi over there brings it. The Gemara says, what happened? The beginning of the pasuk starts, Loshin Rabim, and then afterwards, Vayavoy, only one person came. So the Gemara says that the Vayavi was only one, it was Kalev, Malamed, that Kalev went al Kivrei Avis. And I'll read the Lashon HaGemara, it's important, exactly what the Gemara says. Vayalu ba'negev, Vayavoy umi boilei amarav Malamed, Shepirish Kalev matzas meraglim, Kalev left from the meraglim, from their eights of a holach v'nashtatach al Kivrei Avis. He went to the Avis in Mispal, Amar Lahem. He told the Avis, Avoisai, the Avis, Bikshu alai Rachman, please daven, Avis, please daven for me. She'enot samatzas meraglim, I should be saved from the meraglim, I shouldn't be sucked in with them. So this is one Makar to go daven by Kivrei Avis, the Avis, Avram Yitzchak Yaakov, to be daven by Kivrei Tzadikim. Another Makar is the Gemara in Tainis Tef Tezayin Amud Aleph. The Gemara says, the Mishnah lists out by a Tainis of when there's no rain, a list of different things you do by a Tainis. The Gemara actually has more things you do, and they ask where does the Makar of the Gemara. Rashi seems to mention that it's a Yerushalmi, but one of them is to go daven. The Gemara says Kvaris, and the Gemara has a machlokes. Why do you go to Kvaris? Chad Amar, you go to Kvaris to say that we're doimel lamesim, we're dead if we don't have rain, we don't have food. The Chad Amar says the Gemara Kedei sheyavakshu aleinu mesim rachmem. You should go to Kvarim, to Kivrei Tzadikim, to daven for us. Kedei sheyavakshu aleinu mesim rachmem. They should daven for us. And interesting, Tosfos right here in Tainis says that the same is applicable on Tisha B'Av to go daven by Kvarim. It's brought in Shulchan Aruch and Hilchos Tisha B'Av to go daven. It's a Tainis Sibur, you should daven. But Tosfos, it would depend on what's the reason why you go to Kvarim. If you go, to remember that we're Kemesim, you could go even to Kivrei Akum. But if the reason is to be Mispal, only Kivrei Tzadikim. But negate to us, this is a second Gemara that the Gemara says to go to Kivrei Tzadikim b'shasa tzara. Another Makor is in the Kinus, which we're going to be saying soon. Hopefully we're not going to say it. If we're going to say it, it's Kina Chavav, which is written by Rebbe Eliezer Akaler. And Tosfos says, I think it's a Tosfos in Chagiga, Tosfos says that Rebbe Eliezer Akaler is Rebbe Eliezer, the son of Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai. So it's Meyusar al Pi Medrash that the Eicha says, Oz b'haloich Yirmiyo al Kivrei Avis. Yirmiyo, when he saw the Churban was coming, he went to go daven al Kivrei Avis. In the middle of the Kino, continues on, it says, Shoyig hoya Yirmiyo anavi. Yirmiyo was screaming, Al Machpeil, he went to the Maharasa, Machpeil, Noyim Kalavi, Tnu Koil Bebchi, he was speaking to the Avis should daven, Avois Atzvi, Tov Benecha, Vareim Beshevi, go daven for your children. A third Mekoyer of going to daven Be'ez Sarah, going to daven Kivrei Tzadikim. A fourth makar in the Slichas in Tainus Esther, which is also a Medrash Rabbah in Megillas Esther. Tishbi, some Ezer, Tishbi is Eliyahu Navi, before the Gzeira that Haman was going to kill out Klal Yisrael. So Eliyahu Navi it says some Ezer sak b'masnav. He went to put on a sack. He went to go daven. Miher v'hoidia yeshene mechapel avish shloisha. He went to the Mars Machpelah. So here's another makar to go daven on Kivrei Avis, Kivrei Tzadikim. It's also brought lahalacha, this concept of going to daven on Kivrei Avis, Kivrei Tzadikim, in Hilchas Rosh Hashanah. It's a Ramah. The Ramah says v'yesh makoyim noyagim. It's not a chiyuv, but it's a minig. V'yesh makoyim is noyagim leilach ala kvaros ulaharbis sham betchina. Before Rosh Hashanah to go daven by kvaros, to daven over there. The shaila, however, is all these makairos going to Kivrei Tzadikim to daven. The shaila is l'chayra, this would include in the din of Doira Shalamesim. Is this included in Doira Shalamesim? Which means you're going there to daven. It would seem even pretty clearly, at least from some of the makairos, that you daven to the Mesim, you daven to them. We're learning now in Hilchos Ma'anim Machashev in Kufayin Tasif Yud Gimel. These are Isser of Doira Shalamesim. So the shaila is if this is included in Doira Shalamesim to go daven by Kvarim. There are those that say that it's considered Doira Shalamesim to go to Kivrei to Kvarim and daven to the Besim. The Bach brings Rabbeinu Chaim Paltiel that says, they don't say it is Doira Shalamesim, but have a Kid Doira Shalamesim, Hayanira Kid Doira Shalamesim, to go daven to Kvarim, by Kvarim. The same is also to the Maharil in Hilchas Tainus says it's Kid Doira Shalamesim. The Chaya Adam, Korav Adavar Shehir Doira Shalamesim. They have a problem to go to Kvarim and daven to the Mesim that's Doira Shalamesim.
Was coming from the mace, it's still that mace could vouch for you when word for you.
So we'll see these multiple different pshatim, what happens and what you do. Very good point. Very good. Yaakov, very good. But we'll see, let's first see the general concept. Doira Shalamesim, you're going to get help from the Mesim. We're going to see these 4 or maybe even 5 different mahalchim, what we actually do and what's mutter. So the shaila is, if there is a problem of Doira Shalamesim, as we saw so far, to go to Kvarim, Kivrei Tzadikim, there's a problem of Doira Shalamesim. So what is the heter to go? What's the heter? It's for sure, not only it's a mutter, these makairos, as we mentioned before in Chazal, to go be Doira Shalam, to go to Kvarim, to daven. The Bach, which is being Miyashiv, the Gemara incited that says that Kala was Mispalel to the Avis. He says they weren't really Mispalel to the Avis. They went to the Ma'aras HaMachpelah, since the Avis were buried there. Right there is a Makam Kaddish. It's a Makam Kaddish. V'oid b'doime b'schus hatzadikim that are there. That's what we're being Mispalel. That's what the Bach says. It's a Makam Kaddish. The Mishnah Berurah brings it over here in Hilchos Rosh Hashanah. When we just mentioned it of going to daven, the Beis HaKvaros Makam Menuchas HaTzadikim. It's a Makam Mekobel for Tfilis. V'Tfilin Eskabel Sham Yoser. Achal Yosem Megamosoi Neged HaMesim. Don't daven to the Mesim that they should help you. Ach Yevakesh Me Hashem Yisbarach that should listen. U'B'Schos HaTzadikim. So very clear, just a second of Shlebi Yosef. So very clear, so far we have from the Bach. Of course you go to Kivrei Tzadikim, you daven to the Rabbeinu Shalom, but the schus that it's a Makam Kaddish, or b'schus the Tzadikim over there, that's why a person goes there. We find this concept in Hilchos Tefillah, Siman Tzadik, The halach is if somebody cannot daven with a minyan, there is no minyan, you missed the minyan, you should go and daven in the shul. It's a din in Shulchan Aruch. Siman Tzaddik Sif Tes, and the Mishnah Berurah explains because it's a Makom HaKudosh. So that's the concept over here. You should go and daven in a place. It's a Makom HaKudosh in a place where Kivrei Tzadikim. How he was miyashiv over there, it says that they were maspal to Kalev. I don't know, but the Bach Alein brings it. What did you say? Yeah, it's klar b'pashtus. We're going to see other mahalchim, but the Bach, I hear the shaila. I just want to read the lashon Bach brings to that Kalev. This Bach is in Hilchas Nedarim Simin Reish Yud Zayin. You can take a look. He's speaking about if somebody makes a neder to go to a caver. Brings the Tshuvas Rabbeinu Paltil, which we just mentioned, Gedorish Al Amesim. The Kolev Shenishtatach Al Kivrei Avis Hispalo L'Sham B'Makim Kedusha Kedei Shetei Tvilas in Shmas Ukedachsiv. And he brings into other things. But Lamaisa over there, it's pretty clear that he was mispalo to the Avis. The Gemara in Tainus that says is could be. What'd you say? No, the Bach says that you can't. The Hadam Mishabura says it is you mispal to the Eibush. The Gemara says no. Kalev wasn't mispal to the Eibush. He was mispal to the Avis. That the Avis should mispal to the Eibush that he should be saved from the Meraglim. Yeah, I'm not klar, Taka, how the Bach and how we see the Mishabura says that you're supposed to daven to the Eibush. It's interesting. The Gemara says clearly, the other Makaris we said also, Yirmiyahu, it says, Eliyahu Hanavi said, go be Maspa. He told the Abbas, go Poilois. The Zohar asked this question as well. I don't remember that he asks a dafkin kolav, but he asks in general from all the Makairis that you see that you go to be maspal by Kivrei Tzadikim, how are you allowed to it's doirish alamesim? And the Zohar says two terutzim. One teretz the Zohar says, I was selling it over to somebody before, and they said Tzadikim af b'misasam kruyim chayim, even after they're nifted, they're still considered alive. And memela, and chanami, it's being doirish. But it's not Doirish Alamesim, it's Doirish, they're considered Chai, that's not where it's Nema Doirish Alamesim. It's like the Zohar. It's a Zohar in Parshas Achrei. You can look it up inside. Zohar in Parshas Achrei, that it's not called Doirish Alamesim, you're being mispawel, you're taka asking the mace to daven to the Eibishter, but since Kruyim Chayim, so Mamela, they're not called, it's not called Doirish, you're Doirish, but you're not Doirish Alamesim, you're Doirish, but they're not Mesim. Kruyim Chayim, it's not called Doirish Alamesim. The second teretz in the Zohar says another teretz, that the Isser Doirish Alamesim, which really, when we learn over here, we're learning the sugya of Doirish Alamesim is really that you bring up all different, spooky things. Koyach Hatuma, that's Doirish Alamesim. But we're even asking, but you're connecting to the Koyach Hatuma. As opposed to when a person goes to the cave, this says the Zohar, and you're davening, you do tshuva, you're coming at him, it's not you working with koichas atuma, b'chahai lo yinema the isser of Doirish Alamesim. The Bach, which we mentioned before, says you're not allowed to daven to the mace to help you. The Zohar says you're allowed to daven to the mace. You see others as well. You're allowed to daven that they should go and be mispal to the Eibush, that you should be helped. So we have a machloikis if one is allowed to daven to the mace to daven to Hashem. We have a machloikis. We mentioned before a list of those that say that it is a problem of Doirish Alamesim. Mi'idoch in Sefer Chasidim, one of the Rishonim, the Sefer Chasidim says clearly also v'gam mispal the lashon. He says also v'gam mevakshim mehem heim mispal l'malachayim. Clearly, that the pshat is that the Mesim daven for us. The Magen Avram and Siman Tov Kuf Ayin Tes Siv Katin Yud Aleph. The Magen Avram in Hilchas Tainus when he mentions about davening by Kfarim, Kedei Sheyivakshu HaMesim Rachmim Aleinu. It's clearly that you daven over there, that they should daven for us. So we have a machlokes. The Prima Garden brings both stadim, both shitas. Let's move along and we'll see that there are other mahalchim when a person goes to a kever to daven. So far we said the Bach says you daven to the Eibishter. The Zoyer is mavur, which we see that other poskim bring la'alacha, you're allowed to daven to the Mesim, that they should daven for you to the Eibishter, they should poilois. The Maram Shik has a third mahalach, what happens when you go to Kvarim, Kivrei Mesim. And he says the following, it's really a pasuk and Rashi, which is also a medrash, in Parshas Chukas, just recently passed it. The pasuk says, "Vayareu lanu Mitzrayim." The Mitzvah made it hard for us. Vil avoseinu, not only for us, avoseinu. So the question is, Rashi's bar Chazal, what does it mean lavaiseinu? We were in Mitzrayim. Lavaiseinu, why lavaiseinu? So Rashi says it's tanchuma makan sheha avos. Even though they weren't in Mitzrayim, mitzstar bekever, the mesim, the avos are mitzstar in the kever when Klal Yisrael has tzaras. So therefore, vayareu lanu, we were the ones who had it hard in Mitzrayim. But lavaiseinu the avos, because even in the kever, the mesim know what's going on. Kishaparon Yisbal Yisrael, they're also mitzstar. That's a pasuk at Tanchuma. Says the Maram Shek, when you go to a kever, it's begeded that you be moidia to the Mason on the tzara that the person has, on the tzara that Klal Yisrael has. Eliyahu Hanavi went to tell the Mason on the tzara that Klal Yisrael had. Kolav Yeshlad and how to exactly explain that. But also it's a tzara, but the tzara that Klal Yisrael has, which is also a tzara for the Mason. Memela says to Maram Shik, the Mason are going to be mispal for themselves because they don't want that tzar. They don't want that tzar. They'll be mispal for themselves. Memela will be notzel also. When Yirmiyahu went to Kivrei obviously be mispal on the Churban, meaning to say is he went to tell the Avos should know about it. The Avos will be mitzstar that there's going to be a Churban. The Avos will be mispal for themselves that there shouldn't be a Churban. Once they'll be mispal for themselves, Memela will also be saved. So what comes up on the Ramshik? What did you say? I don't know. Svi is asking if we wouldn't know if we want to tell them. That's a says clearly. Yeah, you have to idea them.
They don't know anything. The Mason don't know anything.
Well, my Esther also was that.
Yeah, very good. Taisa Slamadala. Taisa says Dal Yidei Tvila Shezem Espal Maidian Lahen Shekach Nespal. Very good. Yeah, Taisa says they don't know. They don't know. That's where you go to be my dear. But what happens is, we said from the Bach, you daven to the Eibishter. We said from the Zohar, you daven to the Mason, they should daven to Hashem. Now we're saying that you're telling the Mason, they're going to daven to Hashem for themselves, and the Mela will also be Nitzel. That's the Maram Shek, a third Ma'alach, a twist. But the Maram Shek is mazva with this, something else as well. When we say Slichas, Machnise Rachamim, one of the slichas malachi rachma, we daven to the malachim. So the shaila is one of the animamim is that you're not allowed to use amtsoy. You have to speak directly to the Eibishter. Animam abuna shleima shabayis baruch shemay roy levadi roy lespal ve'enu zelasi roy lespal. You're not supposed to daven one of the Yud Gimel Ikram. You're not supposed to daven to anybody else. So how do we daven machnise rachma? We're davening to the malachim. It's interesting. Really, that's what he's bothered, that even a shliach not also. It says he's supposed to daven to the Eibishter directly without any loy levadoi ve'ein lezulasi roy lespal. You're saying it means only for the Chassam Sofer. Interesting, the Tzina himself didn't say Machnise Rachman for this reason. But says the Maram Shik, based on the Yesod that we just said now, that we're not davening to the Mason, we're not davening to the Malachim. We're telling the Malachim, we're telling the Mason our problems. They're going to daven for themselves, and the Mela will be Nitzel. With this concept. So the Mela, it's not an Amtsoy. When you go to Kivrei Tzadikim, davening to the Tzadikim that they should daven for you. Besides, as we mentioned before, maybe a problem of Doirish Alamesim. There's a problem that you're not allowed to use an Amtsoy. You can't use the Mason to help you to the Eibishter. It's also daven directly to Hashem.
And a Rebbe?
So we're talking about Doirish Alamesim. Oh, Amtsoy.
You have the same time.
But the shtick English there. You know, that's the rabbis, you have to say.
These are, what'd you say? The chiluk, what do you mean? No, we're not talking. The shadows, you go to tzaddik to get a bracha. That's a. What'd you say?
Therefore, he's davening for himself.
They're davening for themselves. The malachim, yeah, they're davening for themselves. Oh, the tzaddik also. Very good. Yeah, very good, very good. One final mahalach, which I believe this last mahalach I think is maybe the most mechudashtik. It's the same as the Zoyer, the Minchas Alazar has a mahalach, and he says the following. This is an Arachaim Siman Samaches, and he says that the Isser of Doirish al Amesim is only if you daven to the mace. A little bit like we mentioned before, you ask them questions. They're the ones who are helping you. The Isser Doirish al Amesim is if they help you. There's an Isser to daven to Tzadikim that they should help you. But yes, you're allowed to daven to tzaddikim. That's the easiest how to understand the Gemara by Kalev. You're allowed to daven to tzaddikim that they should daven to Hashem, that Hashem should help you. Before we saw the Bach and we saw the Zohar that it's not called Der Shalom Mesim because either not Mesim, or then we saw the Maram Shik that you're not davening to the Mesim. The Minchas Alazar, the Minkasha says you're allowed to daven to the Mesim, but you're not allowed to daven that they should help you. You're davening to the Mesim, not like the Mishnah Berurah, that they should daven.
They should backshot like Racham.
Yeah.
They're asking Hashem.
I mean, the same the Gemara in Sait also with Kalev. What was the Lashon HaGemara again? Avoisei bakshu alai rachmim. Yeah, he's davening to them. They should be mispal to the Eibishter. Just to conclude, even though we mentioned it's very clear, it's Inyan, these Mekoiros in Chazal to go to daven by Kivrei Tzadikim. But I would like to conclude with a Shevet Alevi. This is a Shevet Alevi Chelik Zayin Siman Kuf Tzadik Beis Sif Aleph. He's a Lashon HaRambam Perik Daled Mehilchas Avol Halacha Daled. The Rambam says, "V'lo yifne Adam levaker akvaris." Person shouldn't be pointed to go to Kvarim. The Rivash already is bothered with the Lashon HaRambam. Says Reb Vosner and Shevet Alevi, "V'lo yifne" means a person shouldn't be ponui. He shouldn't, he says, these people that go from one kiva to the next kiva to the next kiva, that you shouldn't do. That's what the Rambam says. So even though, as we see clearly, Mekoros and Chazal, these are Inyan, these are mile of going to Mispal by Kivrei Tzadikim, as we see, you have to know how to be Mispal over there. But a person shouldn't overdo it. Like the Rambam says, Al Yifna, you go to Kvarim, you Mispal.
These tours, you have to follow these tours like on the buses to... No good, these tours came at the